All right, welcome. Today we're digging into a part of AI infrastructure that's super critical, but honestly often gets overlooked: memory architecture. We're going to break down exactly how data moves through a system and why getting this piece of the puzzle right is absolutely crucial for the success of your AI projects. Okay, before we dive in, just a quick heads up. This is Module 6 of a 15-part tutorial all about picking the right cloud provider for AI. Now, everything we're talking about is an overview based on a really detailed report by Virtualization Options LLC, and it's meant as general guidance. So, this isn't financial or legal advice. Please make sure you talk with your own experts before making any big decisions. The full report has way more detail, but for now, let's get into memory. So you hear all the time about these massive, expensive AI projects, right? We talk a lot about the raw power of GPUs. But what if the real problem, the hidden bottleneck that brings these huge projects to a screeching halt, is hiding somewhere else entirely? Well, it turns out, a lot of the time it's not actually the GPU's fault. The performance of your entire AI system, the whole shebang, really hinges on its memory architecture. You have to think of it like a multi-layered supply chain, a really complex system designed to feed this incredibly hungry beast that is the GPU. If any part of that chain breaks down, your project does too. All right, so let's start right at the heart of the action, the GPU's own private memory, what we call VRAM. This is where all the magic happens, but it's also where you'll find the biggest constraints. Think of VRAM as the GPU's personal workbench. It is ridiculously fast. We're talking bandwidth measured in terabytes per second. But the catch is, it's got very, very limited space. Everything the GPU is actively working on, from the model's core instructions, its weights, to all the intermediate calculations, the activation caches, all of it must fit right here. And to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about here, check this out. That 1.2 terabytes, that's roughly what you need to train a massive model like GPT-3. And since that is way, way more than any single GPU can hold, you can see pretty much immediately why VRAM capacity is such a massive bottleneck. And this is the really crucial part. We're not talking about a simple performance slowdown here. If you run out of VRAM, your training job doesn't just get laggy, it stops. It flat out fails. And that single factor makes VRAM capacity the #1 constraint for so many large-scale AI workloads. Okay, so if VRAM is this tiny, super fast workbench, it obviously can't exist in a vacuum, right? It needs a way to get its materials. So let's look at the supporting roles here and see how the rest of the memory hierarchy gets built out. And this slide, I think, lays out the trade-offs perfectly. You've got VRAM at the top, insanely fast but tiny and crazy expensive. Below that, you've got your system RAM, which acts as a staging area where the CPU can load up and prep data. And then you have local NVMe storage, which is like a nearby warehouse, caching huge datasets for quick access. See? Each tier is a balancing act between speed, capacity, and cost. So this whole thing creates this really sophisticated data supply chain. The data's journey starts in its main warehouse, some kind of remote storage. From there, it gets cached locally on super-fast NVMe drives. Then it's loaded into system RAM where the CPU can prep it, and only then is it finally delivered, just in time, to that VRAM workbench for the GPU to do its thing.
So, why does this whole journey matter so much? I mean, who cares how the data gets there? Well, because optimizing it has huge real-world benefits. Just look at this chart. By simply caching your datasets on local NVMe instead of constantly pulling them from the network, you can slash your training time, we're talking by 30, even 50%. And that's not just about saving a few bucks on your cloud bill. It means your teams can iterate faster, test new ideas more quickly, and get your AI models out the door way ahead of the competition.
This entire system we've been talking about, this whole complex dance of data, it's all designed to overcome what engineers call the memory wall, that bottleneck created by just moving data around. And believe me, the industry is constantly trying to innovate to make this system even better.
And there's some really cool stuff on the horizon that's trying to blur the lines between these different memory tiers. You've got unified memory architectures, which basically create a single pool of memory that the CPU and GPU can share. NVIDIA's Grace Hopper superchips take that a step further, physically integrating the CPU and GPU together with a super high-speed connection. And then you have innovations like computational storage, which are even smarter. They move some of the data prep work directly onto the storage drive itself, so you don't even have to move as much data around in the first place.
So what's the big takeaway here? At the end of the day, the memory architecture that supports your GPU is just as important as the AI algorithm itself. And as we keep building these absolutely gigantic models, you have to wonder, Is the next huge breakthrough going to come from a new line of code, or is it going to be a completely new way to store and move the data that these models depend on?